I'm here with my good friend Lou Costabile, who runs an incredible mastermind group specifically for CFOs. And what I love about having Lou on this today is that he's riddled and filled with great knowledge, great insight, and he's able to share it with us right now. Lou, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chad. It's always good seeing you.
Always good seeing you. Will you share with me, uh, in the years that you've been doing the CFO Mastermind Group, how did you decide that you wanted to do that?
Well, it started at a lunch where my wife had said, "You speak so positively of these chief financial officers and financial executives. It would be interesting if we see if we could get them in a room, what would happen?" So I said, "I think I can make that happen." So 5 months later, I talked to one of the chief financial officers in Downers Grove, and she agreed that she'd be happy to host. And we had our first meeting with about five CFOs. Here we are 11 and a half years later, and now we have 30 members. It's a not only a topic, but the second half of the meeting is peer-to-peer problem solving. And if you're a CPA, you can get CPE credits for coming to the meetings because they're educational too.
So you're sitting with Donna at a lunch, and
Yes,
you have CFOs in your life anyway.
right.
And as a professional for many years, you were able to not convince them. You were able to just share with them that if they were to join one of your groups, their life would be changed probably forever because you talk about what kind of topics come up in these different meetings. What's top of mind?
Well, top of mind right now, we have one is AI. How does it affect the accounting office? We just had what are the percentages for increases for employees as far as wages? We had what are some people experience in insurance? We had what happens if our communication is broken down in our company? We had you come out and speak about confidence, which is great. You did a great job on that. And we have, what does the future look like for business? We have how does the office change as far as people being 5 days in the office or remote or a hybrid of both of those. So the topics created by the CFOs, again, in the first half, there's a topic, just like those ones I mentioned. And the second half, the topics kind of come from the CFOs when they say, these are my problems. And we go through them with a very specific methodology to solve them with them.
You know, what I love about CFO or no, mastermind groups is back in 2008 and 9 when the world was coming to an end and people
Yeah.
felt very isolated. I started running not CFO mastermind groups, just mastermind groups for people that wanted to be able to remove roadblocks to be able to then be able to achieve the goals that they had. And what I found is that when people came together, that there's magic around the communication and how to remove roadblocks that are many times very easy to remove. But when we're in our own head talking to ourselves all day, the answers don't show up.
Right.
So I would imagine with your groups that a lot of the CFOs come there with business issues, personnel issues, financial issues, and that by being in a peer group of other 20 plus CFOs,
Mhm.
that they get the answers they need to be able to move forward.
Well, the biggest issue that the CFOs face, and it's the same with presidents, is time. So I have to, in my opinion, guarantee them that the time that they spend with me, or as I like to call it, coming up for air, if you're going to come up for air once a month, that there should be value to it. And the best way to have value is not a topic, because sometimes the topics don't relate to you, but the peer to peer problem solving relates to everybody. So the fact that you can come to a group, bring your issue to the table, and get it vetted with other people who have similar backgrounds is really the magic sauce. That's changed the group, and that probably happened at about year 6, where we found that through a guy named Dan Wallace when he was going through why are you CFOs and financial executives here? What made you come to this meeting? And it came down to that they wanted to be able to vent what their issues were and get problems solved. So the fact that the annual due is $3,000, it's some people would compare it to like Vistage in the President's Group at a much lower cost. But the real value comes by the participation, the experience you bring to the table to share to help other people. I'll give you one example. Somebody said in our last meeting, tell me about, I'm going through a merger. And I said to him, I said, okay, raise your hand if you've gone through a merger. And probably 7 of the people in the group raised their hand. I said, okay, for you 7, tell this person, Debbie, what they would need to know if they were going through a merger that you now know because you've gone through it. So it was huge, tremendous help for this person. We had somebody say, hey, I have this law issue and it's very specific. Well, somebody else in the group had that similar law issue and recommended their attorney who did a great job for them. So that right there paid for the entire year just from the lack of having to find somebody and getting those insights was a huge value and a huge saving to that person.
So that's, I think, the bottom line is the insights that other people have.
Yes.
If you get the chance to hear them for yourself, it could change your entire perspective on what your current situation is.
Yeah. Sometimes one of them that was kind of interesting to me was you can not only have an issue, but sometimes you can just have a share. So one of the people said, hey, my son just graduated with librarian studies as their major. And I thought, who is going to be able to help with librarian studies? I've never heard this question come up before. And sure enough, one of the people said, hey, at the Elgin, Illinois library, which is the second largest library in Illinois, I know the person who runs that library. Would you mind if I give them your resume? It was like a magic trick that this person had the answer to that. But that's the bonus of having different backgrounds and different mindsets in different areas of expertise.
So it starts with CFOs
Mhm.
who actually want to become better
Yeah.
and possibly open to other people's thoughts and opinions to make them stronger, better, and faster at what they do so that they could possibly have that more abundant or healthier life going forward.
On my LinkedIn profile just yesterday, and I'm just being factual, I'm not trying to be boastful, but one of the CFOs gave a glowing review. And I said, could you put that on my LinkedIn profile, which they did. I know you're a very big person with a lot of recommendations on, who Chad Coe is. You're kind of an inspiration to me in that I try to do that same thing. You do a really good job of getting
Thank you.
people to recommend you on LinkedIn. Well, he put down that not only is it a great group and it's exceeded my expectations, but more importantly, at the very end, he says, and I've made some real deep friend personal relationships that I think will help me in life for a long time. And to me, that's such a great compliment. Not necessarily to me as an individual, but to the group as a whole, that it's a bunch of givers and they really want to help each other. And you're a big, proponent of that you like people around you who like to give, and you do it by giving first, right? And you don't expect anything in return. And magically it comes back to you time and time again.
Well, as I created Coe Financial Group, and one of the reasons I did this is because there were people in my life that were just being taken advantage of.
Right.
They were being sold something rather than what's right for them. Being as a fiduciary, how do I help you get to retirement so your money will outlive you and be generational wealth? So my goal has
That's wonderful.
always been to help everyone in my life to be able to succeed the way that I have. But I've learned lessons along the way that I love to be able to share with others, because I find life is a repeatable process of doing the things that you like and sticking with it. And maybe the word is perseverance, because, like in many cases, it takes a lot of time for it to show up. But if you do the drills and the exercises daily, then success is almost, I think, guaranteed.
I want to add one other thing that it absolutely is perseverance and dependability. That's critical. But the other thing is that you're consistent. You brand yourself really well. So when you brand yourself well, because for example, a lot of times people's like, brand myself. What is that? It's putting yourself out there, which you do really well, to make people know you, like you, and trust you. And as they get to know you, like you, and trust you, why wouldn't you want to, be with that person and do things? Because they have your best interest in mind.
Right.
So it's a natural, derivative of what you do comes out to know, like, and trust, and then people just like you.
I
I
appreciate
like
that.
you.
Thank you. And Lou, what's interesting too, it's not like, as an example, in your past, what you did,
Mhm.
you had CFOs that you said, I could help facilitate a meeting that if you participate, I could change your life.
Well, I still have an IT consulting business, and the person who was my client was the chief financial officer between 20 and 200 employees, generally between 20 and 50 employees that didn't have an IT person. and needed someone to potentially help them. So I had a list of these people in my database already. I just never thought of getting them together and putting them in a room until my wife was smart enough to think of that idea. And
So
it's fun.
entrepreneur wise,
Yep.
there's people that say I can only do one thing. So you not only have a technology company,
Yes.
you've decided that you could have the CFO Mastermind Group, which has over 30 members consistently showing up.
Yes.
And then is there anything else that you do on the side that people might want to know about?
Well, the fun thing that I do, if the CFO Mastermind Group is a lot of fun, but you can see this over here, and this back here is my YouTube silver button. I have a YouTube channel called My Car Story with Lou, and it has over 2,100 different cars. And a lot like Jay Leno, I do a review of the car. We see the car, we review it, we take a ride with the owner, and the owner shares the reason why this is such a great car and what it's doing. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. So if you go to YouTube and My Car Story with Lou, you'll get a chance to see that.
So your My Car Story with Lou. And as we wrap up this incredible, I just love the interview. I love just your demeanor and the way you go about life. How do people find you? What's the best way that you like to be communicated with?
Yeah, the benefit is right there on my on this. You can see my email is trupowr@yahoo.com. Send me an email. I check those. If you'd like to call me, you can call me at 630-673-0780. And I'd be happy to get a chance to talk to you and talk to you about what you want to talk about.
And typically we're getting a couple thousand views with these videos. And if anyone wants to connect to me, I'd love to be able to connect and have conversations with you about things that help you become an overachiever so that you could find happiness in your life and abundance. Lou, thank you so much for taking the time today to do this with me. Everybody have a great day. Be abundant. Talk soon.